The SEC's dynasty of BCS National Titles has been canceled, courtesy of the Florida State Seminoles. This was one of those games where it was something you wanted to TiVo, DVR. Make sure you watch again in the ESPN Classic archives. This was one of those contests, and you could sense it early. Ricardo Lewis dropped the pass on third down to begin the game, and if he caught that, Auburn wins the national title, we might be looking at a different story and maybe a bigger score. But they didn't, and the point is, Florida State, they're limited to a field goal. And after that 3-0 lead, Auburn scores 21 unanswered points, and they go nearly an entire quarter from the 1 minute mark in the first quarter to the 1 minute mark in the second quarter without Winston completing a single pass. But fourth down, Jimbo Fisher decides to call a fake punt. It ignites Florida State. It gets the team to come together. The Florida State Seminoles offense unites, and we finally see some potential. We see some flashes of brilliance. Florida State gets a quick rushing touchdown in the red zone. It's 21-10. Florida State has the ball to start the second half, so you think that they're going to score right off the gate. They don't. Auburn continues to have the momentum in the contest, and it was one of those games where Auburn did a good job limiting the damage initially, and it was 21-13 Auburn after three quarters. So you thought Auburn had this in the bag. Well, Jameis Winston, he picked the right quarter to show up in the fourth quarter, down by 8 points, gets a passing touchdown to make it a 1-point Auburn lead, cut that Tigers lead from 8 points to 1 point. Then, late in the contest, after Auburn got a 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, that would make it 27-24. Cody Parkey got the 22-yard field goal following Abrams' receiving touchdown, courtesy of Winston, to begin the fourth quarter. So it was 21-20 Auburn. Then it was 24-20 Auburn. Then Whitfield had the kick return, 27-24. Trey Mason's 37-yard run was a thing of beauty. It was a run to the outside, past the right guard, past the right tackle. In the end zone, it was a rushing touchdown that put Auburn up 31-27, and there was a minute left at this point. You just figured there's a minute 19, there's barely any time left. Auburn has this in the bag, but Winston maintains his composure. He gets the ball downfield. He moves the chains, even with less than stellar time by the offensive line. He makes things happen, and the Chris Davis penalty really screwed Auburn at the end of the game because it looked like it was going to be third goal, and the Florida State was going to have to try for fourth and goal, but pass interference penalty on Chris Davis makes it 1st and 10. Florida State is able to score. Kelvin Benjamin is simply money in the red zone, and the Seminoles win the national title. They end the SEC's reign of terror as a conference superpower, and I kind of like the way this game ended because I could easily see Florida State and Auburn both being the top 2 ranked teams next season, with Alabama as a third team, and then maybe a Pac-12 juggernaut like UCLA, Oregon, Stanford. Somebody from the Pac-12 is that fourth team. And if nobody from the Pac-12 emerges, then Ohio State's probably going to be the fourth team, and that would be our 4-team playoff, because I think those Pac-12 teams, like the SEC, could just kill each other out, and Auburn and Alabama might be the 2 teams that rise to prominence again. We don't know. It's just mere speculation at this point. But you'd have to think Auburn would be the favorite, considering how they performed tonight, considering they're motivated to want revenge, considering the fact that A.J. McCarron's gone. Alabama's losing a lot of talent to the NFL this year again. And it's at the tipping point where you're just thinking, okay, they don't have it anymore. But as long as Saban's there, bringing in new recruits, Alabama's always going to have a shot, because that's how it works. But hats off to Florida State, hats off to Winston, hats off to Whitfield, because him and Redbeard and whole Florida State organization won this championship as a university but you really have to credit Winston and Whitfield for how this team performed in the fourth quarter, down 13-21, then winning 34-31, going on a 21-10 run in the fourth quarter. A lot of good stuff happened in this contest, and Winston finished the night 20 for 35, 237 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, no picks, and you got to credit Auburn for limiting Kelvin Benjamin to 4 receptions. What they didn't do was limit him when it mattered, and that's what it came down to in this contest. Auburn's just lucky they recovered 3 fumbles from potential turnovers because they fumbled the ball 3 times in the game and they recovered on all 3 fumbles. But the point is, Auburn could have won this game if they'd caught the pass from Ricardo Lewis early. They didn't. Kelvin Benjamin capitalized when it mattered. Jameis Winston displayed resiliency and clutch ability against a quality SEC opponent when it mattered the most. And Jimbo Fisher has a right to brag about this victory because he won it trailing 21-3 in the second quarter. Fantastic game, fantastic finish. This is, without a doubt, the best BCS title game since the Rose Bowl in 2006. And personally, I think it's better than that Rose Bowl because this was one of those games where everything just felt right. Nick Saban said that Auburn was going to need 35 points to win, and everything and anything that could have happened, and this was one of those contests. It was that good. Talk about a touchdown. Ending an SEC dynasty. Another touchdown. A couple of touchdowns for Winston. Seminoles win 34-31.